the conspiracy is focused on something, even if we don't understand why they're focused on it, we can say if they're focused on it, that means it's important to them. And we need to start digging, why is it important to them? Why are they focusing on it, either for good or for evil? Because they do not attack or promote something positively without an agenda, without a purpose behind it. And so why is this such a big thing? I'm going to get more into it. And this really breaks down to the important, helping us to understand the principle of freedom of association and freedom of speech. The government should never interfere positively or negatively with our ability to associate freely or, with each other, or to force us to associate with people, or to silence our speech, to do anything that would make it so we would not be able to say something, or to force us to say something, because both ways are going on now. We see these things. And so these are things that are controversial, right? Well, this is kind of a little bit more funny. Like this is a bus sign that says no riders unless you're a brunette, blonde, or a redhead. Everybody else we're banning to give rides to. This one is help wanted. The Irish need not apply. So this was something a business said, we want some employees, but if you're Irish, we have no desire to associate and to work with you, to have you as an employee. This one is because colored only, no whites allowed. So this was a business that said, we are only going to cater to colored. And we have this one, no dogs, Negroes, or Mexicans. Kind of an interesting combination there, but that's what they decided to have for their business. We have Catholics in this place. The other one said we want workers, but no Irish. This one says we need workers, but if you're Catholic, we don't want anything to do with you. And so this might come as a shock, but you know what? I say thumbs up to all these. Not that all these are all things that I would do. I've got no problem with working with Irish, for example. But
wonder what.
We all have the freedom, right? If somebody said, no 6 foot tall white guys can shop in my store, I'd be like, hey, that stinks for me. I can't go in there, but I do not want to interfere with your ability to associate with those that you want to associate with. This is not a bad thing. Okay. We all discriminate in one way or another every single day. When we decide which grocery store to go to, we're discriminating. By not going to all the grocery store options, we're discriminating. Okay, we're saying we are choosing one of them and we're saying no to the rest. So instead of saying, right, the other one said no riders unless you're blonde, we're saying no groceries unless it's at Walmart or Safeway or whatever it is. And so we're discriminating. We're saying no to the others. The same thing when we go to buy something, right? If it's food, we're buying a can of carrots, we're saying no to the other things that we're not buying. If we don't buy everything in the store, we're discriminating. But nobody would say that you're crazy or that you're evil or that you're mean or that you're bad because you chose to not shop somewhere or because you chose not to buy something. Those are just preferences, right? We go through the dictionary. What that means is, what is discrimination? The act of distinguishing, the act of making or observing a difference, a distinction, as the discrimination between right and wrong. Anybody calls that, bad, it's kind of unreasonable. And it says, so distinguishing, discernment, discrimination, discernment, the act of discerning, also the power or faculty of the mind by which it distinguishes one thing from another, as truth from falsehood, virtue from vice, acuteness of judgment, power of perceiving differences of things or ideas, and their relations and tendencies. The errors of youth often proceed from the want of discernment. We have judgment, the act of judging, the act or process of the mind in comparing its ideas to find their agreement or disagreement and to ascertain truth, or the process of examining facts and arguments to ascertain propriety and justice, or the process of examining the relations between one proposition and another. Okay, so we have these things that people say we shouldn't do, but when you look at what these things are, no reasonable person would disagree with us or say that we don't all do these things every single day. Now, when we say we're discriminating against something, we don't like something, I don't like chocolate, doesn't mean I'm going to go in the store and destroy all the chocolate bars. Now, that just means my wife gets more chocolate. Okay, so when we don't like something, doesn't mean we're going to destroy it. When we're discerning, even if it's not that we don't like it, we just don't want it. Doesn't mean just because we don't want it, doesn't mean we want to destroy it, right? That there's a difference between actual physical harm and just not associating. Okay, these aren't the same thing. And that's what the conspiracy wants to promote, is the idea is if you don't like something, if you don't want to associate it, that means you want to destroy it. And that's a false idea that we have to reject and ignore. So what it just means is no thanks, right? I'm not in your cult. I don't want any part of that. No, thank you. That's all that it means. And Muhammad Ali did a video discussing this topic when it comes to discrimination that we're hearing more and more being focused on in the media today. And so I wanted to play this clip from Muhammad Ali. I think he makes some really good points. And because he's black, he can say these things without getting in trouble.
Because let me tell you something. If you have any colleges here where black people go to college, have an assembly or something and watch and see all the Jamaicans, all the Trinidadians, the West Indians. They're just naturally human together. Everybody likes to do his own. You see some bluebirds going this way, red birds flying this way. They might get all mixed up, but they'll all come out together. And you see the tigers with the tigers, the monkeys with the monkeys, the lions with the lions, the giraffes with the giraffes. They're all animal cats, but they got different hangouts. You see the eagles over here, the pigeons over here, the buzzards over here, the all-type bluebirds, the red birds, the owls. They all are birds, but they got different little cultures. You got your English talking, your English food, and you and the man in Germany are both brothers, but your cultures are different. You and the man in Russia are even more different yet. I was in Zaire, home of my brothers, but the food and the way they talk, the way they dance, I'm not home till I get back to Harlem to the brothers. Yeah, baby, I can't stand it. Yeah. See, so you understand? So ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be with your own kind. What's wrong with me wanting to be with my kind?
So that's a key principle that is, as he pointed out, I would dare say is a natural law. He pointed that out with just observing nature. When you observe nature, you observe this idea.